I don't want to do my dog like this. I know he tweeted
but you
that
know
Skip
who I'm
Bayless
talking
need to
about,
stop
right?
saying his name. It's my homeboy Anthony Smith, bro. Good
That's
friend
who
of
it
mine.
was.
Yeah.
So now here's the question: should Chase Young be worried about becoming Anthony Smith because he has been doing what Anthony did to Tom Brady, talking trash?
You know what? Hell no. And I'm gonna tell you why. Here was the difference.
Tell me.
Anthony Smith at the time was a second-year safety. He replaced me. That's the year I got sick. And he's playing against Tom Brady in his prime. He's playing against Randy Moss, having the greatest statistical season, touchdown-wise by a wide receiver, and all of these other things going on in New England, right? And he couldn't win his individual battle. You know who can win his individual battle? Chase Young. Now, you may have to worry about Fuller on the outside and Darby on the outside, but the dude that stands in front of Chase Young could whip him. And then the dude he's trying to get to, who is Tom Brady, if those two dudes get face to face, I pick Chase Young. Now, does that mean they're going to win the game? No. Does it mean that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers aren't a better team? No. What it means is Chase Young is solely focused on whoever you put across from me can't hold me, and Tom Brady cannot get away from me. I got an opportunity to interview him the day before the draft for Under Armour, and I asked him, who would be your dream quarterback to sack? And he said Tom Brady. It's more a respect thing. It's more of living out a dream thing. Think about how young this dude is and how long Tom Brady's been playing football. Tom Brady's been the greatest quarterback of all time since Chase Young has been paying attention to football. You think he don't want to sack that dude? You think he don't want you to bring on the GOAT? And the other part is, like old girl said on whatever, was it Real Housewives or Love and Hip Hop? Who gonna check him, boo? Nobody. Dude gonna be okay.
I just, I was at that game. I went to that New England game, and I remember
It wasn't
the
funny.
story
It wasn't good.
pregame. Oh, man.
Yeah, it wasn't
good.
good.
It wasn't good.
Fair enough. Remember, Brady's been in the league for basically 20 years, and Chase Young is 21 himself. Ryan, we'll see you on Get Up Top of the Hour with Greeny the Gang on ESPN. Thank you, man.
Y'all boys have a good one.
Oh, man. Bombs away. Oh, those things was flying all over the place. Zubin, you should have seen that. It was crazy. And so I'm there, I go as a guest of New England Patriots, Belichick, and we having pregame conversations. They like, that dude right there, we get ready to do something to him.
Don't poke the bear or the goat or any other animal for that matter on the way.
To do so. He's not only the head coach, but he's the play caller. And when you have to do all of those things from the same position, I think your worth is a little bit different than most head coaches in this league. And so I think this is not only a huge loss as to what it will mean to the Cleveland Browns from a sense of not having your head coach there, not having someone who's delegated the entire season, but you're losing not only your schematic leader, but your actual in-game play caller that understands the vibe and the flow of this team each and every down. And I think that's huge, and it can't go underrated. This is like losing, at least to me, 3 to 7 points in this game to a team that you are already the underdog to.
Ryan, you mentioned they lose Kevin Stefanski as the head coach, but the quarterback coach and Alex Van Pelt takes over play calling duties. Quarterback coach is in the ear and works in conjunction along with Kevin Stefanski in terms of game planning, calling plays. How could this be significant to Baker Mayfield in this particular game?
Well, Key, that's significant because that's the guy you have the most conversations with. So I think it's significant on two parts. Does this take Van Pelt from being able to sit next to Baker Mayfield on the bench and being able to go over the pictures and talk about what happened, because he is delegating, because he now does have a new position. He now has new responsibilities and obligations as the head coach. Or does this give them some sort of synergy and carryover and chemistry from having talked to Van Pelt throughout the season and kind of understood each other, and Van Pelt knows how to get Baker in the right position, knows how to have Baker more comfortable or as comfortable as he can possibly be to make those plays. I think it could go either way. And so where it is good that you have someone who's been a part of Kevin Stefanski's start process as the game goes on, it's different when you have to do it from the head coaching position, which Van Pelt will have to do now.
Ryan, let's talk about the Eagles for a second, man. Give me your unfiltered opinion on if you were a player on that roster. How would you have handled everything that just went down?
Well, first off, you've been around it, Jay. Like you take your shower after the game, you grab your stuff, and you go home. Like that's the way you handle it. And now, when you start to be prodded and picked by the media, you understand what response they're trying to get. I think you handle that in the building. You have an exit meeting, right? You talk to the head coach, you talk to your position coach. And in those meetings, you can basically say whatever the hell you want to say. And so if you have an issue with the way Doug Peterson handled that situation, that's when you tell him. You tell him the importance of that game to you. You tell him the importance of that decision. And so I would be pissed off about it. And not pissed off because Doug Peterson made a decision that he felt was good for him, for his team, or good for him, or helped his thought process as how he saw Nate Sudfeld, but because it wasn't communicated, because it couldn't be adjusted based off of where we were in the game. And when your leader, Jason Kelsey, says weeks before that every decision made on a football team should be made with one priority, and that's winning football games, and then your head coach decides to go a different route, and that's not communicated, then those are mixed messages. The team wants one thing, the head coach wants something different, and that needs to be addressed with the head coach.
Let me ask you this though, Ryan, because I've been going back and forth with this thing and trying to understand his communication. If he communicates with them that what we all know, he was tanking to get to the sixth pick, can the Philadelphia Eagles be punished for doing that? Is that the reason that he probably didn't communicate, because he didn't want to lose draft picks or be heavily fined?
I'm pretty sure you could be punished for that, right? That seems like something that would be detrimental to the shield, right? Detrimental to the integrity of the game. And so if those things would get out, I'm sure the NFL would investigate it. But even if you're not communicating why you're doing it, Key, you need to communicate that you're doing it. You need to let your team know, okay, this is the plan going forward. And if it truly was Doug feeling like it was senior night and Nate Sudfeld had been there 4 years, and because he ran the scout team really well, his parents deserved to see him play, then cool. Tell me that. Tell me, you know what? Nate's parents are going to be in attendance tonight, and when they walk him across the field to take his senior picture, we want to see him get some snaps. But let us know that. Let us understand why we are taking this field, because clearly it wasn't to win the game.
Is Doug coming back as the head coach? Is he going to be the head coach when all this is said and done to start the 2021 season?
I think that's a conversation that's an overall organization conversation, Key, because you look at Doug, like Doug's been to the playoffs since 17, 18, 19. He's at a playoff team. And it's not very often that you win a Super Bowl, you go to the playoffs in succession like that, and one bad year gets you out of it. Now, we're looking at things in a microscope, but like some of this junk just looks terrible. Your starting quarterback, who $110 million man, he's no longer your quarterback. And then you bench or you replace your guy you replace him with in the last quarter of the season. And so those things look bad, but I think you have to look at his tenure in totality. And so it's, what do we do with Doug Peterson? Is he our coach next year? And then you figure out what you're going to do with your quarterbacks.
How about the Dallas Cowboys situation here, right? Do you think Dak Prescott actually has the leverage in the situation, and will he get top dollar as a quarterback?
Hell yeah, he got the leverage. No, I don't know if he's going to get top dollar, right? Because this team seemed to not.
So what's the point of having the leverage? Dollar.
Well, the point of having the leverage is doing your best to get as close to that as you possibly can, right? It's not